Hello students, welcome back. Okay, last class we saw about how to measure national income. This class we will see about what are the difficulties in measuring national income. Okay, in India there exists a large number of non-organized and non-monetized sector of barter system. You know what's a barter system? Okay, a barter system is nothing but exchange of goods for goods. Okay, barter system is nothing but exchange of goods for goods instead of money. Okay, some of the points related here shows the difficulties in measuring the national income. The first point is transfer payments. Transfer payments like pensions, unemployment allowances are not to be considered in national income because that is considered to be as an extra amount being spent on the people of a country. The next thing is difficulties in accessing depreciation allowances. Now let's suppose that I am running a factory and all of a sudden my machinery is under repair, it gets damaged, or maybe I need to replace it. So money is being spent here. So therefore national income cannot be measured in the depreciation allowances. The next thing is unpaid services. Now unpaid services can be something like a mother doing household work and not getting paid from their husband or from their father. Next thing is a maid doing a free service, maybe a friend taking tuition for schools or maybe teaching dance, singing. All these are not to be considered under national income. The next thing is income from illegal activities. Now in India there are a lot of illegal activities being going on. Not only in India, many countries, something like gambling, smuggling, and then manufacturing of illicit liquor, etc. are not to be considered in the national income. The fifth point is production for self-consumption and changing prices. That means if I am a farmer, I grow the crops and I do not sell it in the market but I use it for my own self-purpose. This is because of the changing in price. I know that maybe next year I might know that there might not be rain or there might be a lot of drought. So what I do is I will sow the seeds, grow the crops and then keep the grains for my own self-consumption and I will not sell it in the market. So that particular thing is also not being considered under the measurement of national income. These are some of the difficulties we face. Next thing is capital gains. Now there are people who buy houses for a very small amount and then they sell it under a very large amount. Even that is not to be considered. Like properties, stocks or shares which are sold at higher prices than to be accepted. So all these are not to be considered under the national income. So these are some of the difficulties. They come back again. Transfer payments like pensions and unemployment allowances. The second point is difficulties in accessing depreciation allowances like damage, repair or replacement of a machinery in an organization. Unpaid services, the service being rendered by a housewife, a maid, taking tuitions, etc. Next thing is income from illegal activities like gambling, smuggling, illicit manufacturing of liquor. Next is production for self-consumption and changing price. A farmer growing the crops for the usage of himself and does not sell it in the market. And the next thing is capital gains. That means any property, stocks or shares which have been sold at a very higher price. Next we see the G point. Okay students, the last point is statistical problems. Now great care has to be taken for double counting. As in previous class I told you about what exactly is double counting and improper data. There hasn't been data which has been given under right condition. Skill and efficiency is also very important in estimating national income. Now let's see what are some of the statistical problems arising in the difficulties of measuring the national income. And then the first point is we do not get accurate and reliable data. That is the first point. In which sector? Farm and animal husbandry. We do not get proper data from the farm and the animal husbandry sectors. That is the main problem where we are not able to calculate the national income for our country. The next point is since our India is vast, there are different languages, different customs, different religions, therefore it creates a lot of problems. So the second point is due to different languages and customs, etc., it creates a lot of problems. The next point is people in India are indifferent to official inquiries. They do not cooperate with them properly due to the non-cooperation, and since they do not respond properly, there is a great problem in measuring the national income. And the next is, most of the statistical staff who have been doing under this particular process are untrained and inefficient. They do not update themselves. They do not update themselves. Okay students, now the next topic is social accounting and sector. Okay, under this method, the economy is divided into different sectors. Now what is a sector? A sector is nothing but a group of individual or institutions having common interrelated economic transactions. I come again. A sector is a group of individuals or institutions having common interrelated economic activities. So therefore, the economy is divided into the following sectors. Totally there are about 5 types of sectors. One is firm, households, next is the government sector, rest of the world sector and the capital sector. Now first we will see about firms and households which I have written on the board. Now what is a firm? A firm is nothing but any organizations where factors of production takes place. That means a firm is nothing but a place where raw material is being converted into a finished product. Okay, here they undertake productive activities. That means production takes place. Next point is organization which employ the factor of production to produce goods and services. The next is households. Who are households? They are consuming entities and represent the factor of production. That means households are nothing but people want to work on the firm to manufacture or to produce goods. Okay, after producing the goods from the firms, the households receive payments for services rendered by them by the firms. That means the household work in the firms, produce the goods and receive payments from the firms. Now households consume goods and services that are produced by the firms. That means let's suppose that I am working in a bakery. I produce bread and then I consume it myself. That means I also get salary from the firm. Now after that I have to go to the bakery, pay money and then get the bread. So I am both related to firm as well as the households. Now firms make payment to households for their services. That means since I did the service of producing a bread, I receive the payment. Households spend money, receive income from firms on goods and services produced by the firms. Now whatever salary or the money which is being given by the firms, I buy the product which is being produced by the firms as well as from the other firms. Okay, now we'll see the next topic. Okay, the next point of the firm and household is the government sector. What is the main function of the government sector? The main function of the government sector is to ensure that there is safety and social responsibility of the people. So what do the government sector does is, there is some economic transactions of the people at all levels, that means center, state and the local. So there must be some economic transactions between these three people, that is the center, state and the local. Now what does it does? It is also the collective body that purchases goods and service from the body. That means these people, the government sector, purchases the goods and services from the firms, from the local firms. Next is, how does the government purchase it? Now where do these people get money from? So the government gets money from some of the financial sources through tax, public borrowing like stocks and other things, or any other fees, or maybe they might get loan from the central bank. Next is, what is the main function? The main function is to provide social goods like defense, public health and education. So the government mainly spends on these three main aspects like defense, public health and education. The next point is, however, post office and railways are not separate from the government sector and it is included in the firms. That means to say, post office and railways are separate from the government sector, but they are considered to be firms of this particular two sectors. Okay students, so we saw about firms, households and the government sector. Now all these things are within the country. Okay, the firm, household and the government sector is within the country. Now we'll see what is the main function of the point D in rest of the world. So what is rest of the world? This is nothing but international economic activities. Now what is international economic activities? That means there is some economic transactions of two or more countries. Okay, it contains income, export and import, and external loan, that is taking loan from the World Bank, and allied overseas investment. That is, 2 or 3 countries come together, invest in one particular project which will be beneficial for all these countries who have been included. And next is payment between these countries. Next is capital sector. What is the main function of the capital sector? The main function is saving and investment. They save the money and invest in different projects. Next is transaction of banks. There will be transaction of banks between one country to the other country. Next, insurance, stocks and shares, and other money agencies. Next is they provide financial assistance to the firms. That means the World Bank provides financial assistance to the organizations or institutions which are in other countries. Okay students, now we come to the last part of the second chapter, that is national income and welfare. Now here in this particular topic it says that every country with a greater GDP enjoys a greater welfare of that particular country. Now in this particular topic it says that not every country with greater GDP enjoys the well-being of that particular country, because there are certain social constraints or limitations. Now before that we'll see what is national income and welfare. Now here he says that what is welfare? That means well-being of a country. The people in that particular country are they have enough money and things like that. Second point is economic progress is measured in terms of GDP. Yes, in every country, the country's well-being is measured by the economic progress in that particular country and their annual growth. That means every year, step by step, their GDP keeps on growing. And a country with higher per capita income, that is always sure, a country with higher per capita enjoys a greater economic welfare. But there are certain limitations. Now what are those limitations is that economic welfare depends on composition of goods and service. That means whatever goods is being produced, that should be consumed. If proportion of capital goods are more, that means if capital goods are more than the consumption goods, then the country cannot enjoy the economic welfare or there will not be any improvement. That means, I say again, the proportion of capital goods should be less than the consumption goods. More consumer goods and less capital goods. Next point is production of luxurious goods is only for the rich people. Let's suppose that I manufacture all luxurious cars, luxurious houses, but that is only for the rich people and not for the poor people. More GDP with environmental hazards, like if I have many factories, many industries which pollute the environment, then that particular country is not said to be in social welfare. Next is production of war goods, because production of war goods leads to destruction of one country towards the other country. And employment of women and children who work for very long hours, because those people do not enjoy the well-being. Maybe they have the money, but they do not enjoy that particular status in the society. So therefore, physical quantity of life index, the physical quantity of life index, that is called PQLI, is better indicator. So what is the physical quantity of life? That is standard of living. That means the standard of living should be proportionate, neither too less nor too much, and a very good environment, good surroundings, good society, and life expectancy at birth. Maybe there are so many countries where the life expectancy is something proportionate to 0 to 5 years. 20% of the people die in between 0 to 5 years, and then 5 to 10 years, another 20% die. That should not be the proportionate. There should be a standard life expectancy at birth. And very good literacy is a very important point. That every student or every children in this country must get proper education. Thank you.